It's that time once again. I've asked you to send me your silliest, stupidest, daftest redstone ideas you can possibly think of via Twitter, and you have all responded in your thousands. There were plenty of really good ones for today's video. In fact, I actually struggled to get it down to 10, but I've just about managed to pull it off. I've built all of them, so now let's take a look at what you guys have come up with. And I think it's safe to say that this first one has been a bit of a wonderful fail, because I've just read the tweet for the first time since I screenshotted it, and I've built the wrong thing. Oscar Reinberg asked me to make a growing moustache like you had in your Hermitcraft server, but complete, but then underneath they attached the GIF that says across it, I request the highest of 5s. And clearly, my brain found that much more interesting and has decided to build that, which I have to say sounds like a better suggestion to me. So let's head down to the bottom here, and let's activate this thing. That should send our first palm off in this direction, and then we have another one over here, which we're going to activate now. And these two should now be traveling towards each other. Now, as you can see, we are pretty high up, and they are approaching. Maybe I should have put them a little bit closer together. But then again, the suspense is kind of building. This is going to be magical. And there we go. I mean, it doesn't have the satisfying noise of most high fives, but that's good enough for me. Captain Obvious, who's actually a bit of a familiar face for this series, he seems to get a suggestion in it every single time I do one of these episodes, has asked me to build a redstone door with a code that when inputted incorrectly, opens a trapdoor to a pit of lava that causes the person to die. Now, I have to say, it's not the most silly or daft of suggestions, but I actually quite like the sound of it. So here we have our redstone mechanism, here we have our little doorway, and if we stand inside here and put in the correct item, let's say, then we open up our piston door. But if we put in the wrong item, then, well, it's not going to end particularly very well for us. Obviously, I'm in creative mode, so I'm faring quite well here. So as I said, that previous one wasn't that silly, but thankfully I make up for it with this one because Nathan6409 has asked me to make a nose sneezing. And I just want to say, Nathan, big thank you for the emoji showing me what a nose looks like, because I almost forgot. Anyway, this is what I've constructed. I think it's safe to say that it does actually look quite similar to the emoji. And if we head down to the bottom here, we're about to activate this thing. Now, I have turned up my volume so that you can hear my sound effects, because I think it's worked out pretty well. Here goes. I mean, it was all right. We got quite unlucky with our villager sounds. Generally, they make better noises than that. But, no, I think if I sneezed like that, I'd probably take myself to the hospital quite fast. That sounded horribly painful. Moving swiftly on from that slight failure there, Max Stanton has asked me to make a sideways piston elevator. Now, the first thing that I did when I heard this suggestion is I popped into my redstone testing world and went to one of the first builds that I constructed in that place. I think this was maybe the second or third thing that I constructed in that sandstone world that you're all familiar with. And amazingly enough, after maybe 5 or 6 years, this thing still actually functions. Look, it pushes us along and it's relatively quick. The only issue is that it's not reliable on servers at all. So I went back to the drawing board and I constructed something considerably brighter. I mean, look at this thing. This is like fluorescent orange, but also it's a little bit more reliable. It will actually work on servers, and it works by placing in a block, which I always quite like. So we walk inside here, we place in this block, and then as you can see, our little block gets pushed along and we gradually make our way through the Travelator. Now, I don't think it's quite as fast, but I think what we lose in speed, we make up for in style points. I really, really like this thing. Ali Kashmir has asked me to build Grian building redstone. Now, this is frequently requested whenever I do one of these videos, so I thought I would actually do one better. I would get Grian to come in and build his own redstone contraption. So here it is, as you can see, there is Grian looking very proud of himself. And here is the redstone contraption in all of his glory. Now, I have to say, I mean, I've definitely seen Grian build prettier things in my time. But, you know, we can't all be perfect all the time. Let's see how well this thing functions. So there is... Okay, I'm assuming that was closing. So the door's closed. And then, I mean, I guess it's kind of open. You could say that that's opened. Yeah, you can't get through it when it's like that. So no, I suppose that's closed and then open. Nice work, mate. Keep Keep it up. Anyway, moving on from that one, Okoko has asked me to make a simple piston house that can be moved by a flying machine. Now I have to say, the piston house part, that just wasn't happening. That is way too complicated for my little brain, but a flying Portaloo, now that's totally doable for someone like me. And as you can see, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's safe to say I've been using Portaloos for the past 5-6 years on my YouTube channel, and this is the fastest moving Portaloo I've ever seen. I mean, one has never moved this fast, and I have to say, it is still functional. If we just pop inside here, try our best to get in, as you can see, it works. We can stand in here, we are being pushed along, it looks quite cool. It's a little bit strange with the flooring. I guess we'd have to put wheels on the underside of our shoes so that we don't get moved around too much. But other than that, you could actually go to the toilet in this thing. You just have to be quite careful because you wouldn't want to get any on your trousers. Kieran Mega vs Prime has asked me to make a very complicated machine using all the different redstone blocks, and all it does is move a piece of bread from one chest to another. Now I really like this idea. I especially like the addition of using every single redstone component because, well, that was a bit of a challenge, but I've tried my best to do it, and it's ended up being really, really interesting. Now, I will run you through this, but for now, let's just activate this thing. So we go, items, we've got TNT. Right, that's activated that. We're getting rotten flesh on the gold. And there we go. Bread is traveling from this chest into this trap chest right here. As you can see, it is actually working. Right, I'm going to deactivate this thing and then quickly explain how it's actually functioning. So when we hit this button, the redstone signal travels through into this dropper hopper monostable circuit, out from this comparator into this redstone torch, which then causes this sticky piston to retract this observer, which powers this dropper, sending an item down onto that iron pressure plate, which activates a bit of TNT traveling past this tripwire, which activates this notebook, which then sends a redstone signal through into all of these dispensers, which dispense out 2 different items, and then a zombie, which activates this AND gate down at the bottom, which will then send a redstone signal through into this inverter, up into this redstone clock, which will activate, turning on all of these things, making a horrendous noise, but also shooting out lots of rotten flesh onto this golden pressure plate. As more rotten flesh appears, the redstone signal strength will increase, eventually powering this piston, which will transmit the signal from this daylight sensor through into this sticky piston with a redstone block on its face, which will then unlock this hopper, allowing bread to move from this chest down into this bottom chest right here. And if you're wondering if this was a late addition and it wasn't in the previous clip, yes, you would be right. I actually forgot the redstone block. How embarrassing. Wow, that was a lot of talking. Anyway, Billy Wiz has asked me to build any contraption, but you can only use one color of wool. So I started working on this one last night. I was building up some of the redstone, and then I came back into the studio this morning to finish it off, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't remember what redstone circuits did what. Nothing made sense to me, so it doesn't work. Don't be so stupid. How could I build a redstone contraption with only one color of wool? It's never going to function, is it? This next one is probably one of the silliest or daftest redstone suggestions we've had in a little while. It comes from Fluffy Flour, which is a very difficult thing to say quickly, and they have asked me to build a hot dog that cries. Now, I almost took this on a bit of a dark turn and built an actual dog, then set it on fire, but I don't know if I could personally do that. So instead, I've built this thing, which is almost equally as depressing. That's a very sad looking hot dog. So there it is. I mean, we have the bun. There is the bun and the actual hot dog itself. On its own, I was actually very proud of the hot dog that I'd managed to create. But then once you add in the mouth, the little teeth, the eyes, the eyebrows are a nice touch as well. This hurts my heart a little bit. I mean, seriously, if this was one of those adverts that was asking you to donate money to a certain charity and this was just all they showed on the screen, I'd be given £20 a month. I'm actually going to leave this dude in the background for this next suggestion, which comes from Seb Summerfield, who asked me to make a redstone contraption inside a redstone contraption inside a redstone contraption. Now, this is a really, really cool idea that I had no idea how to execute. And this happened a couple months ago as well, because lots of people were asking me to build self-building redstone contraptions, and I didn't feel like I could do the idea justice, so I challenged you guys in the community to build self-building redstone contraptions, and holy mackerel, did you build amazing self-building redstone contraptions. I'll put a link to that video down in the description. Some of the submissions were absolutely fantastic. So today I want to do the same thing again. I want to challenge you in the community to build a redstone inception machine. I have no clue what that's going to look like, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. And of course, if you do build something like that, make sure to upload it onto YouTube, title it Redstone inside Redstone inside Redstone, and then also include a world download down in the description so that I can download it for myself. And who knows, in a month or so's time, I will search that up and see what you guys have built, and I might end up making a video on it. So there we go. That's a little challenge to round up today's video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please roll to that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and as per usual, check out the latest film on the filming channel. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you don't watch it, then this is what I'm going to look like in my computer chair.